Welcome to iPad Film School. This is a 4-part video series intended to teach teachers how to teach students how to make videos. I've demystified this process down to 4 simple parts. First, you plan the video or you write the script, then you shoot the video, then you edit the video, then you share the video. We're going to show you how to do all 4 of these steps, all on the iPad. Before you shoot, you need to write a basic script or outline to plan what you're going to be shooting. We're going to use the basic AV format for this lesson. I've included a link down below as a template in Google Doc. The AV script looks just like this. The left column is the audio and the right column is video. Write what you're going to hear, all the music, sound effects, dialogue, anything that's in there in the audio column, and anything you're going to see in the video column. Plan your film to have a story, a beginning, a middle, and end. For these, you're going to do a biography, and the simplest way to plan a biography is to have childhood, where they are now, where they want to be. You can also plan what additional media you're going to need. Photos, videos, music, sound effects, anything that you're going to need to help enhance or tell your story, collect that before you shoot. A great thing on the Google Doc is that you can collaborate on these. So you can have students who are researching together and they can copy and paste links of videos and audio sounds or samples that they might want to use or emulate. I suggest that schools partner teachers up together so that they can each tell each other's story. Plan, shoot, edit, share. So now, let's shoot. Even shooting a video on the iPad can look really great. You just have to make sure that your lighting, your sound, and your composition are intact. So let's start with composition. The simplest rule of composition is the rule of thirds. What you can see right now is I'm a very centered image. It's very boring, but when we think about it and we can divide this screen into thirds, you can start making much more interesting compositions. If I'm over here, it gives you room over here to use titles or photos or anything else. But you can see over here now what I'm doing is putting the shadow against my face. So this is really the most flattering angle that you can have. The rule of thirds divides the screen into three vertical sections and 3 horizontal sections. What you want to try to do is put the main subject of interest right at one of the crosshairs. It'll help just make for a much more interesting shot. So when you're framing your interview subject, you can frame them something like this. So it gives them a little bit of positive space. That's from this side of the frame to this side of the frame. And it also gives you an ability to have them looking directly at the interviewer who should sit right next to the camera. You frame the shot just like this, you have them sit like this, and that's your composition. For lighting, in this example, I use natural daylight. So I had my subject sitting on a couch next to a bunch of windows. I opened up the shades all the way and let as much light in as possible. It was very soft light. There's 2 main types of light that you want to pay attention to. There's hard light and there's soft light. In digital video, it's most flattering when you can have soft light. Digital video doesn't have the contrast latitude. With the iPad, it automatically adjusts to what it thinks you want. If something's very bright like this white and something dark like the background, it's not going to know which to focus on, and so either it's going to focus on the background and make this part too bright, or it's going to focus on the foreground and make this part way too dark. Soft lighting tends to be the most flattering on people. Here's an example of some hard lighting where the shadows are coming down very hard. The sun is at about noon, which is right above. When the sun shines straight down, it can create real hard shadows under the eyes and the nose and the mouth, and those shadows are what you don't want. What you do want is a nice soft light. You can see that a shadow in soft light doesn't have a hard edge to it. It sort of fades in and out. An overcast day with full cloud cover will make for a really perfect opportunity to shoot. So ideally what you want is a room with soft light that you can have a lot of sunlight coming in, and then if there is a need, then you can always add a bounce card or something like this where you can add light bouncing from a side. See how that fills that in? But you can see it adds a little bit of light, just fills in that extra shadow. Stabilization is an essential when shooting with an iPad. A tripod can be really helpful, and it's nice to have one of these spring-loaded tripod mounts for the iPad. You just squeeze it around it and stick it on a tripod, and then you can move the tripod in any way. If you don't have access to a tripod, you can always use the stand for an iPad. Just sitting this on a table and not moving it will really help you get great shots. Stack it against some books, lean it against a chalkboard. You can do anything you want, just keep it still. Sound is an easy variable to control. You want to try to find the softest room possible that has furniture, carpeting, and/or curtains. You don't want a room that has all hard surfaces. If the room is all hard surfaces, it's going to reflect and bounce all that sound around. It'll make your recording not sound as good. You want to try to shut windows, turn air conditioning off, turn off fans, turn off any background music. If there's children outside playing, you might want to try to go to the farthest classroom possible. Soft rooms, soft surfaces, and proximity. The closer you can have your iPod to your subject, the better quality the audio will be. I'd say within 5 feet is probably pretty safe. As long as you have a quiet room and you're very close to your subject, you'll get good quality audio. The main thing you want to do when you're interviewing is try to have your subject use the question in the answer. So if you ask them, what is your favorite color? Instead of them simply saying red, they would say, my favorite color is red. That way when you're editing, you can cut the filmmaker's voice out. So how long have you been acting?
I've been acting since I was very little, just for fun, with other kids that my mum used to look after.
And don't be afraid to ask them to repeat a question. The great thing about shooting on the iPad is that your camera and your editing system are all the same, so you don't ever have to transfer that video from one device to another. First thing you want to do is open iMovie. So when you're editing in iMovie, you've got a bunch of options. Over here is where your media is managed. This is your timeline. So from 0 to the end of your clip is the equivalent to the top to the bottom of your plan, of your script. You've got all of your media here, your photos, your videos, and your audio. All the photos and videos you've shot on your iPad and all the music you have from iTunes are going to be included in here. You have the ability to squeeze and zoom and move things around, and once it's all ready to what you want, edit your clips down so that only the parts you want from your interview are included. If there's a clip that you want to split into 2, you can do that by just putting your playhead exactly where you want to split it, and then you hit the split button. Grab the handles on the sides of clips and you can adjust the length of them. To understand how iMovie handles clips, you have to see them as what they are. One clip is a bundle of both audio and video. When you're editing, you might want to do some things where you have the video from one shot but the audio from another. To accomplish that, you have to split the clip. Then you have 2 clips that can work independently of each other. The great thing about this AV scripting format is what you wrote in your script will now just get turned sideways. That sideways formation will be exactly like this, with the video on the top and the audio on the bottom. If you turn this sideways, this is how we wrote the script. The video was on the right side and the audio was on the left side. And then you rotate it, split them, and then you have your clips. So that as you move from top to bottom on your script, you're moving from left to right on your timeline. You're moving from 0 seconds all the way to the end of your video. Once you have your clips shortened and just the pieces of the interviews that you want, you can pick up clips and move them around and rearrange them in any order. Adding music is very easy on the iPad. You have to have the music on your iPad to begin with. I recommend, if you don't know how to get music on your iPad, just use the music that's built in. Adding photos, you can do right from the photo library on your iPad. You can also add what's called the Ken Burns effect, which is a zoom in and out, which helps add movement to your image. Adding titles is very simple. The T logo on your iPad will be the titles. Transitions are the effects that are added when you go from one clip to another. The most common is the cross dissolve. I highly recommend that you keep the type of transition at a minimum so that you're not overdoing it with a lot of transitions. There's a lot of different transitions that can help you, but they can also distract from your video. You remember PowerPoint videos right when they came out and everybody was putting claps and pianos and cheers and movements and animation. It became really distracting. Keep your story simple and keep your transitions just as simple. You go to the main menu, which is your project viewer. Tap your project, tap the upload button. The up facing arrow means upload, meaning you're putting it up to the cloud. And you're gonna edit these to YouTube. Every one of you has a YouTube channel which is connected to your Google Docs, and I recommend that you start that YouTube channel so you can share your video. Log into your YouTube, send upload, and within a few minutes, your video is live on the internet. Congratulations, you're now a filmmaker. You've created your first film using only the iPad to shoot and edit, and now you have a skill that you can teach your students so that they can also do these types of projects.